Fill me up now. Amen. Amen. I'm excited about this word today. This is my 10th year preaching and pastoring. And this is, 10 years. And this is the first time I've ever done a series just looking at what Jesus said. And so as much as I'm preaching, I'm learning. Just looking at his language and looking at, because we get so caught up on all the other stuff, right? On what folks say is important and where they want to point us. But the ability to be able to stop and just look at his words and what they tell us has been just fantastic. And so I'm excited about this sermon. I'm excited about the next 4 or 5 that are coming, just looking at what Jesus said, what he didn't say, what he did say, and what it means for us. Amen? Amen. So last week we looked at Jesus' first words in Luke's gospel. Remember that?
Yep.
Remember that he was 12 years old and his family had lost him and went back to find him and found him in the temple. And when they found him in the temple, Jesus' first words that we hear in Luke's gospel was, "Well, didn't you know I was supposed to be here?" Right? And they clue us into a piece of his divinity. Right? They clue us into a piece of who he will become and what he is to us. Right? He's making a connection between him and his father. Didn't you know I was supposed to be in my father's house? He's telling us something about his divinity. We're learning something about his character, his very nature of who Jesus is in Luke's gospel. John is very different. First of all, John is different than anybody you ever meet. Now, just to back up a little bit, we'll take 3 minutes of Bible study, please. Okay. We know how we say the Gospels, right? And when we think of the Gospels, we think of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, right? Y'all are? Okay. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, right? Well, the reality is that Matthew, Mark, and Luke are called the synoptic Gospels. Synoptic in Greek means same, right? John is not part of the synoptic Gospels. Matthew, Mark, and Luke, if you were to look at them, they pretty much tell the same story. Right? They pretty much include all of the same kind of healings and miracles of Jesus and stuff that Jesus did. They're pretty same, right? Therefore, the synoptic Gospels. John is just out there on his own. John got stories that no one else got. Right? John is telling you stuff that you won't hear nowhere else, but you will hear in John's Gospel. Right? John is very different than the other Gospel writers. And part of the reason that John is different is because John was one of the 12 disciples. John was there. Right? So John has firsthand knowledge of not just who Jesus is, but how Jesus was. Right? And so John is trying to clue you in to his friend. John is giving you information that makes sense just in John. You'll find 20 and 30 different miracles looking at Matthew, Mark, and Luke, but in John it's just 7. Right? Because he isn't concerned with trying to impress you with miracles. Right? He just wants to give you the meat of his relationship with Jesus Christ. He wants to teach you about this Jesus that he got to know and watch for 3 years. John is interested in a whole different thing than the other synoptic writers. And so here in the text, in John 1, John begins his gospel in a very weird way. Whereas most Gospels begin with this kind of historical understanding, right? This chronology of Jesus' birth, right? This person begat this, begat that, begat that. Right? All the rest of them begin like that. John begins his Gospel with, in the beginning there was the Word. And the Word was with God, and the Word was God. John says, forget all that history stuff. I'm going to tell you, he's the Word. This is Jesus. Right? So John hits us right in the beginning with this relationship to who God is, to who Christ is. Right? And then he spends the first remaining piece of John 1, not talking about Jesus, but talking about John the Baptist. Now, you all remember John the Baptist. He was the one that came out of the woods and said he would eat locusts and honey, and said he had dreads. Said he wore sheepskin and fur and all that kind of stuff, right? And John the Baptist was baptizing people, and thousands were coming to be baptized by John the Baptist. And John, the writer, spends the first half of his gospel talking about John the Baptist and who he was in relationship to who Jesus was, right? And then we come to this discussion in the latter half of the first gospel about Jesus. And what's interesting is, and here's why I love this text, because you just got all this stuff about John the Baptist, about how powerful he was, how wonderful he was, how he could baptize in water, but one that's coming who will baptize in fire, right? How the Pharisees and Sadducees were so scared of John the Baptist that they sent spies to check him out, right? Build this case around who he was, and yet here we have in the 38th verse of John, the first chapter, his disciples see Jesus, and the text says they leave John the Baptist. John the Baptist says, "Behold, the Lamb of God," and his disciples who have been traveling with him, who have witnessed all that he's done, were like, that's what we out. They just did. They left and went and followed Jesus and went up to Jesus, and the text says, in John 1 and 38, and Jesus heard them behind him and turns around and says, what do you want? And they said, Jesus, where are you staying at? And Jesus said, come and follow me. And they went, and on that day, they became Jesus' disciples. They did. Right? Here's what's interesting to me. How easy is it to leave and go a different way? Right? They had this connection with John the Baptist, but were easily able to cut that off and just follow Jesus. How many wish it was that easy? Y'all quiet. It's not raining. How many of y'all wish it was that easy to cut off the thing you love, the thing you've been so connected to, and just go follow Jesus? One of my favorite shows, and if you've been around now for a year, you know that primarily in our house, we watch one of three things. HGTV, Animal Planet, or ESPN. Well, I watch. And CNN, all of them shows. Everybody's looking at like television. Right. But I love to listen on HGTV. Oh, yeah. Because it's the same paradigm, right? Where you have built something, and you have the means to make it prettier, make it better, or you can listen it, you can leave and go to something new. That's what these disciples were faced with. Do we stay with John the Baptist, or do we go with Jesus? And if we go with Jesus, how do we know we're going to be okay? That's what many of us are faced with. Do I stay where it's comfortable? Do I just get my stuff together? Do we just fix this up? Or am I willing to list it and go somewhere new where I know Christ is calling me? Am I willing to leave what I love to follow Christ? Or do I want to stay and just try to make this a little more tenable? Right? What does it take to be able to listen? What does it take to be able to let go? What does it take to stop trying to fix it and stop trying to make it better and stop trying to get it just the way? And listen, you know it ain't going to work. I see half them shows, the whole house is like this big, and they trying to put 4 bedrooms in it. It ain't going to work. Get up, we get so caught up trying to fix it. Right? We got 20 kids now in the 2 bedroom trying to fix it. And God John the Baptist says, behold, that's Christ. And his disciples were out. Immediately when he followed Jesus, I wish I had that kind of boldness. I wish I had that kind of resolve that I could easily let go of everything I knew and just follow him. But sometimes, can I be really difficult?
Yeah.
It's difficult. One of the things that makes it easier, number one, is knowing that Jesus is watching. He's watching and waiting. One of the things that makes it easier is knowing that Jesus is watching and waiting. One of the profound pieces of this gospel, one of the profound pieces of this text is that it says that Jesus heard their footsteps and he stopped and he turned to them. Now I don't know about you, but to me that's profound. To think that Jesus will turn to me. To know that Jesus will stop and wait for me. That is profound. We get so caught up on this thing of having to catch up to Jesus. Having to get everything straight and fix stuff and be in the right mindset and have stuff together. But what is it to know that he's just stopped and waiting? He has turned to us. Huh? We don't have to, there's some, I'm chasing after you. We don't have to chase Jesus. We don't do that. Right? We don't serve a God we got to catch. That ain't God. Right? If you got to go catch God, you might want to stop. Right? We serve a God who will stop and turn to us. How many of y'all remember when you were kids, or perhaps last week, when you would be, you'd be in there thinking you by yourself, and you just Frankie Beverly Mays come on, and you, right, you in there, right, and you realize people are watching you, right? It changes how you behave. Am I wrong about it? How you move from a two-step to. Right, because it's something that happens when you realize you're being watched. Something that happens to your demeanor when you realize you're being listened to. That someone's paying attention to you. I'm telling you, Jesus is watching. He has turned to you. You don't have to go crazy trying to. He has turned and is listening. How profound is that? That we serve a God that loves us enough to turn, to stop, and to wait till we get it together. That's number one. Part of the way in which we're able to move from loving it to be able to listen. Part of the way we're able to move from being connected to that thing that used to be so important to us, that used to define us, that used to be who we said we were, to being able to follow Jesus, is recognizing that Jesus has stopped and has turned to us. He is waiting. That's number one. Number two, the other way that we're able to do that so easily is that not only do we realize that he has stopped, that he is waiting, that he's watching, but watch this, number two, he's also listening. He's also listening to the first words that Jesus said in John's gospel is, what do you want? The first words that Jesus says in John's gospel is, what do you want? Now, I got to preface this, because some of us come out of the same kind of experiences. And so when we hear a person in authority say, what do you want? We take it different. Amen? Hallelujah?
Amen.
Y'all ain't had parents like me. Okay, that's fine. But Jesus isn't saying it in a like, what do you want? Kind of way. No, let me rephrase. Jesus is saying, how can I serve? Right? He heard their footsteps running up behind him. He's already stopped. He's already turned to them. And Jesus is saying, how can I serve you? What are your needs? How can I be of service? What do you want? Church, if you knew that Jesus was stopping had turned to you directly and was asking you this question, what do you want? What would be your answer? How would you answer that question? Jesus said to you right now, at 9:35, we're going to have to get a big clap. At 9:35, 38, Lord Jesus.
35.
8:30. I know how to read. 8:38. Praise God. What? I'm gonna say, give me a digital clap. But at 8:38, Jesus comes to you and said, "Listen, what do you want? I heard your needs. I have heard your complaints. Right? Let's be honest. I have registered your fears. I've got it all listed of the things you're scared of. I have a whole list of concerns you may have, but what do you want? How would you answer that question? And to realize that the first thing that Jesus says in John's gospel is a question. He wasn't just asking the disciples, he was asking us even now, what do you want? Because until you deal with that, until you discover what it is you really want, how can I help you? How can I serve you? Now I can sit here and listen all day to the problems and concerns. I can watch the same train wreck you just described. But until you decide and define and articulate what it is you want, how can I serve you? First thing Jesus says in his gospel, John, what do you want? What is it that you are in need of? How do you whittle down all the craziness around you to that one simple point of, here's what it is. Jesus, what I want is peace. Cool. Jesus, what I want is the restoration of my joy. Cool. Jesus, what I want is patience. Cool. But until we can get to that place of saying that, we're simply just standing there in silence with Jesus. Does that make sense? How do we get to a place where we can stop loving and begin to listen? Get to a place where we can move beyond that thing that has captivated us for so long? It's simply by deciding, defining, and articulating what we want. Because see, as long as you don't articulate what you want, you'll be comfortable in that thing that no longer provides comfort for you. Does that make sense? That's why on the show, the first thing they do is take them to go see Good Houses. Right? Right? Because they want to show them some examples of what you could have. Right? Because they got so used to living in squalor and mess that they need to see some options and opportunity. Right? We get so used to being emotionally and spiritually and physically just abused that Jesus, before you can define where you want to go, let me show you what joy was like. Yes. Let me show you what peace looks like. Let me show you what real patience looks like. Right? So then we can say, you know what? I don't need to stay here anymore. This ain't no work. I think I want a sauna in my bathroom. I want some marble tiles. I want some. You better come on. Right? Because we've seen differently now. Yeah. That's the purpose of the Word. The purpose of the Bible is to show you what you can have. The purpose of Jesus coming to earth and walking amongst us, the purpose of the Gospels is to show us what it looks like to live in peace, to live in wholeness, to live in joy, to handle strife and mess and still survive. The purpose of Jesus is to show us what we can be. So the question becomes, what do you want? Number one, how do we move from loving it to listening? We recognize that he has turned. He is watching and he is listening. He is waiting. And Number two, how do you move from loving it to listening? You realize that Jesus is listening. What is it that you want? I know where you've been. I know the limitations of what you've seen, of what you have seen, but what is it that you want? Then number three, and I'm done. Number three, and I'm done. I think the sun has come back. Number three, and I'm done. Number three, and I'm done. Number three, and I'm done. In the same sentence, Jesus does two things. Number one, he asks the question. And number two, he gives a command. Same sentence. The question was, what do you want? The command was, come and follow me. Number three, Jesus is always inviting. Here is the reality. Let's say you answered the question of what you want. Jesus, I've figured it out. But I want peace. Right? I saw all this craziness in and outside my house. Jesus, I want peace. Craziness on my job, craziness in the world. Jesus, I want peace. Right? You have said it, you have proclaimed it. The Lord has heard you. And then God says, come and follow me. It's contingent. Y'all get that? If you want what you have just defined, the only way to do it is to follow Jesus. And so he's giving you the roadmap of, okay, I heard you. Now, if you really want it, will you follow me? If what you just outlined and articulated is really serious to you, if it's real to you, will you follow me? Because if you can't follow me, you can't receive it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I want joy. Cool. Follow me. I want peace. Great. Follow me. Christ, I'm tired of going through hardships and struggle. I'm tired of having to deal with all this. Great. Follow me. God, but God, you don't understand. It's been hard for so long, and this happened. Follow me. Right? But what do? We stand still. And say, no, I'm going to get there. First, I need to do this. Right? And Jesus is saying, just follow me. Because if you follow me, the very thing that you are in search of and need of, I will provide.
Amen.
Number three, he is always inviting us to follow. Always inviting us to follow. And where for some of us that may seem difficult. That may seem hard to follow Jesus. Can we be honest? Right? Because we got so much stuff we think we are attached to. Right? So many folk we think we are responsible for. Ooh. Right. It's hard to follow Jesus because what about them? What about my relationships with them? What would happen, Jesus, if I just listed, if I leave them there and follow you? Jesus, what happens to my responsibilities over here if I'm busy following you? Right? Here's the thing. God is God enough that if you will just follow Christ, Christ will handle that.
Amen.
But as long as you're trying to handle that, Christ can't handle you. Does that make sense? And so Christ says, if you will just follow me, the very things you are worried about, I'll deal with. But we have to be able to follow Jesus. Number one. If we are ready to listen, tired of loving this space that has become too tight and too small. One bathroom. Right. We're tired of loving and ready to listen. The first thing is that we got to know that Jesus is watching. He's waiting. Number two, we got to know that Jesus He's listening. He's asking us what it is that you want. And number three, you got to know that it's contingent because it's also inviting. If you really want it, follow me. Amen. Amen. I want to. We've got some time, so I want to do this. I want to pray. And then if you're here, you say, Pastor, I know that I haven't been following. I know that I need to get back on track. I know that I need to get into a space where I can seek after Him again. I want to pray for you. If you're here and say, I don't know Jesus as my personal Savior. All of this sounds good. I wish I could follow Christ. But I feel like I'm out here on my own. Can you introduce me to this Jesus you've been talking about? I want to invite you to come. And number three, if you're here and you say, we don't have a church home. We are not plugged into anywhere officially. But I know in this season, we're going to need it. I want to invite you to come. So, I'm going to give a general prayer.